What up? So we're back at it. In this version of spiritual gumbo is the it's a really special one. Excuse me. Um, I don't have a name for it. I'm stuck between uh, the chosen and like seeing the Most High. I don't know how to really call it, But you guys will hear it, and then you'll understand. You'll see why. Sometimes I have a hard time coming up with titles for them. It's just they're not so clear cut. And I don't know if you guys remember the last time, but in this last junction, we're pretty much told about it. I called it my angel for a reason because uh, 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 the angel of the Most High God, whom I contend and I will contend vehemently, is the Messiah. Um, he's pretty much. It's like there's several different mediums of what we contend as spectra being used to relay this message to the people. But there are obvious moments where Moses is dealing with the Most High fairly directly, even if he's in the form of something. Um, the Most High God, though, is about to manifest himself. And this is one of the most important junctions in all of the scripture. Uh, because the people have, we have to recognize, the people who lived in the land of Canaan never probably actually, these are just stories they heard. You understand? It's like, I know it's horrible for me to contend it like this, but it's like how the only thing we know about our history here is slavery, right? You know what I mean? And then the rest is kind of like confusion. Well, back then for these people, you know, um, their understanding when they were in the kingdom would have been something likened to that. They would have only known the stories that they were told. You understand? Um, and there are different instances that give credence to this, but we're not going to get carried away. We're going to go to verse 1, and we're just going to break it down. This is going to be a two-part a piece where we jump into the book of Enoch in the next part. But we're going to read this for right now, and then we'll see what you guys think. And to Moses, he said, "Go up to the Lord, thou and Aaron and Nadab and Abiud and 70 of the elders of Israel, and they shall worship the Lord from a distance." Okay, put that in mind. Verse 2, and Moses alone shall draw nigh to God. So he's the only one who's going to get close. And they shall not draw nigh, and the people shall not come up with them. So, listen, not only will you not get close, the people aren't coming up with you. Right on? So this is really the chosen. You know what I mean? Like, okay. And I don't know who the 70 elders were, but these are clearly, I did the math, and it would be 5 from each tribe, and then the 10 elder tribes would obviously get a delegate over the 10, over the 2 junior tribes, which would be Ephraim and Manasseh. Because Simeon and Joseph um, um, are both absorbed into the tribe for want of a better term. Um, but having said that, the 70 elders, I just had to give you the numbers real quick, right? Because times 12, because 6 times 12 is 72, and 5 times 12 is 60. So it would mean that 10 of the tribes got another representative, and it would just make sense that the 2 younger tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh, get one less person. You know what I mean? Than everybody else. You're the junior tribes. Having said that, the Levites would obviously have the most representatives, right? Verse 3. And Moses went in and related to the people all the words of God and the ordinances. And the people answered with one voice, saying, all the words which the Lord has spoken, we will do, and be obedient or hearken. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord. So he wrote them down, right? And Moses rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the mountain. This is like a huge barbecue pit. And the other day, me and Andre were talking about it, and I had misread a little part earlier, but he'll know when he hears it. But still, this is a massive barbecue pit. That's, an altar is something you can cook on. I need you to understand that. It's not just... There's different kind of altars, and this is an altar of sacrifice. Listen to this. He builds this under the mountain, right? And set up 12 stones for the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent forth the young men of the children of Israel, and they offered whole burnt offerings. And they sacrificed young calves as a peace offering to God. Stop right there. First off, they use the young men because they're just younger. It's easier for them to do, and they're also learning the process of sacrifice, right on, the learning the idea, the whole mode of sacrifice. So there's that, and there's also just the fact that they're younger, so it's just easier for them to do than an older person. You just follow my instructions and do what I tell you to do. You know what I mean? And it's a peace offering, right? Note that even though the Most High God considers sacrifice evil to a degree, he knows that this is how men show their highest level of thanks and gratitude. They don't know any other way. So he's like, okay, I accept it because this is who they are. Having said that, there are things that you will not sacrifice to me. You see what I'm saying? Because it's unclean. Right. So these young men, if they had never made a peace offering or never actually been the ones to do it, now they're being taught the process. And I felt that was necessary, that I gave myself the breath to say that to you guys. So they're actually being taught how to cook. And sure. Verse 6. And Moses took half the blood and poured it into bowls. And half the blood he poured out upon the altar. Now, I still don't know why he did this. We've all seen like blood get spilled. I've seen blood get spilled in a hot grill, and even on like a hot stovetop. I'm not sure if the altar was already set for what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if it was already set for cooking and it burned the blood off. I'm not sure. Verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and he read it in the ears of the people. And they said, all the things whatsoever the Lord has spoken, we will do and hearken therein. Stop right there. This is only the 24th chapter of the Exodus, and this is the book of the covenant. Now, people are going to be like, well, there's still laws to come. Do y'all remember how I said that the Messiah is talking in space and time? Do you remember that, right? This is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to contend something. And until otherwise noticed, just pay attention for it, and I think the story plays out like that. Okay. Moses wrote the entire, he wrote all of it at one time. Follow this. I know this is going to be amazing and crazy, almost trifling for people to take in. I believe some of the events that took place, he wrote them down before they happened. And knew that they were going to happen as it happened because the Most High is telling him. I can't verify that, but we're going to keep reading. It's so amazing because if y'all remember how the stories go in the Genesis, how you're like, well, hold on, that couldn't have been that unless these people were this age. And then you start to do the math and you're like, oh, wow, the Messiah's talking in space and time and some of this stuff. He's just pulling events together. The Most High is talking in space and time. If you want to say that the Messiah can't somehow transfer between two things. The point being this. Moses is telling the story in space and time to us. Some of the events play out. Listen, the events play out as they play out. I can't prove it. But this man may have actually written down the events. He prophesied his own death. Just a thought. And we're going to keep it pushing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and keep on reading. Verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it upon the people. He did what? And sprinkled it upon the people. And said, behold, the blood of the covenant, which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. So as opposed to it being somebody like these are, understand, other cultures were blood sacrificing real people and using real people's blood. The Most High God is like, no, we're not doing that. You're not doing that. When you sacrifice to me, you sacrifice animals. This is why there's ordinances about not doing these things. When we get to these other parts, these latter parts of the book, there's going to be things that I contend happen at the earlier stages. You'll see. You'll see what I mean. Because it's telling us right now, we know that they're only 3 months or 4 months removed from Egypt at this point. Follow my prognosis. So when we read later on, keep that in mind. Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. And Moses went up, and Aaron, and Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the place where the God of Israel stood. This is the most important part about his appearance that they see. And under his feet, and under his feet was as it were a work of sapphire slabs. That's very important. And as it were the appearance of the firmament of heaven in its purity. Now those aren't his feet. That is what? Under his feet. So they don't actually tell you what his feet look like. Because around his feet was so, it was so. But you do know that a sapphire, look it up. Look up what a sapphire is. Its technical definition. We're not going to read the book of Enoch right now this moment. We're just going to carry on. And when I'm saying that Moses wrote all these events down, like I'm saying that Moses knew what was going to happen for a lot of this stuff before it happened. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. The people, if you know exactly what somebody's going to do, can't you tell somebody exactly what's going to happen? If it plays out like that, how's it going to play out any differently? How would we know? I need you to start thinking about how much did Moses actually know? Once again, this man prophesied his own death. At what point in junction in his life did he prophesy his death? At what point in junction in his life did he write it down? We read it as it happens real time, but we don't know when he actually put that on stone. It's told to us as is. I just need y'all to understand what I'm trying to say. It's a cold concept. But it's really like, it's not time travel or anything like that. It's something different. I don't even know how to explain it. It's hard to explain. If I find a way to explain it, I will. We're going to finish out this chapter and then we'll be done. Note that the purity of the firmament of heaven is described in the appearance underneath his feet as well. In verse 11, and of the chosen ones of Israel. What? Of the chosen ones. There was not one of them missing. And they appeared in the place of God and did eat and drink. And the Lord said to Moses, come up to me into the mountain and be there. And I will give thee the tables of stone, the law, and the commandments which I have written to give them laws. Do you understand? Are y'all understanding what I'm saying right now? It's deep. It's so deep. Understand. Moses already told the people that the covenant is one thing. Now you're going to get laws and statutes and ordinances. This is why I'm trying to. This is why I'm asking y'all. Like it's so. My mind is. It just hit me really as we were reading this. Like I'm like, how much did this guy know? It's blowing my mind, y'all. It really is blowing my mind. Verse 13. And Moses rose up and Joshua, his attendant, and they went up into the mountain of God. This is why Joshua is the guy who comes after Moses, because this is his attendant. This is his right-hand man. And to the elders they said, rest there till we return to you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have a cause to be tried, let them go to them. And Moses and Joshua went up to the mountain, and the cloud covered the mountain. And the glory of God came down upon Mount Sinai. And the cloud covered it 6 days. And the Lord called Moses on the seventh day out of the midst of the cloud. Out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the glory of the Lord was as burning fire on the top of the mountain before the children of Israel. And Moses went into the midst of the cloud and went up to the mountain and was there in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Oh my goodness, stop right there. Do y'all hear what just happened? So the Most High God, because I don't think this is... The reason why I'm like, I have a hard time believing that this is the Messiah is because the Messiah, God, made himself a physical person to Abraham and to Isaac and Jacob. Right. This one is like, I can't let you see who if you see who I am, you die type thing, right? You know what I mean? Right? Kind of like the cats who seen his real face in the middle of the water called the Red Sea before they went. Yeah, kind of like them. In this form, he's like, I'm just pure fire. And understand that Moses steps into this cloud and he's gone for 40 days and 40 nights at this point. Where Joshua was at, I have no idea. Where Joshua was at, I have no idea. See, this is that type of thing where the actual story itself is so amazing. If you just read one verse of the scripture and try to canonize that as if that's the end all be all to the scripture, you will most definitely miss the glory of the story. Man, may the Most High God be praised. I hope y'all enjoy this. Part 2 is going to come with the breakdown of the book of Enoch. I'll see y'all a little bit later.